Just when you think you've wrapped your head around Squid Game, the show throws a curveball that hits harder than the subway recruiter's slap. Packed with heartbreaking betrayals and jaw-dropping revelations, the series thrives on upending expectations. From mysterious identities lurking behind masks to twisted games that turn innocent childhood fun into brutal psychological trials, each twist digs deeper, leaving us shaken and desperate for more. In this video, we're breaking down every plot twist from the series, ranking them from the ones that raised an eyebrow to the ones that left us speechless. Which secret flipped the story upside down? Which moment had you frozen in shock? Let's unravel the madness together. First off, let's go over what we do know for sure. Season 3 is confirmed to be the final chapter in the series. That means Gi-hun's journey will come to an end, whether tragically or victoriously. Netflix has confirmed that the VIPs will return, and the director has promised that the final 3 games will be more thrilling than anything we've seen before. Season 3 is expected to begin immediately after Season 2, which ends with players voting whether or not to continue the deadly tournament. Because several players marked with X's were taken out during the rebellion and overnight chaos, it's safe to assume the O votes will win, continuing the nightmare. From the 5 newly released official images, we can start piecing together an incredible narrative. The first twist to unpack: what happens to Gi-hun? One image shows him handcuffed to a bed, with someone wearing a green tracksuit and long hair standing in front of him. This figure is believed to be Dae-ho, a key figure who failed to return with vital ammunition during the rebellion. This failure ultimately led to the uprising collapsing and Gi-hun being forced to surrender. The contempt on Gi-hun's face suggests deep personal betrayal, as Dae-ho's failure cost the lives of several players, including Gi-hun's childhood friend. Though Gi-hun is restrained, it's unlikely that the other players will be able to harm him. As the game's previous winner and now their biggest threat, Gi-hun is too valuable for the organizers to lose. The frontman, who seems to have a strange admiration for Gi-hun's morality, likely has strict orders in place. Anyone who harms Gi-hun will be immediately eliminated. After all, he's the most entertaining wildcard for the VIPs, a symbol of rebellion and morality. We predict Gi-hun will be forced to observe the new games, unable to intervene as he watches more innocent lives slip away, slowly breaking his spirit. In-ho, aka the frontman, appears to have taken a sinister interest in testing Gi-hun's moral code. In Season 2, Gi-hun declared that some deaths were a necessary sacrifice for the greater good. This shift in his mindset may have pleased In-ho, who is attempting to prove that even the purest man can be corrupted. But the theory argues that Gi-hun will resist this psychological warfare. After all, he's the man who reached the final game in Season 1 and nearly gave up the prize money to save his friend Sang-woo. A Gi-hun villain arc is highly unlikely, especially given the show only has 6 episodes left. More realistically, Gi-hun will either be redeemed or die as a symbol of hope. Let's move to the second major twist: the final 3 games. Believe it or not, we've already seen the clues. In a little-known trailer before Season 2, actor Lee Jung-jae is seen holding business cards that subtly reveal the games of Seasons 2 and 3. One game that almost no one has discussed, but fits perfectly, is Dongdaemun. This is a Korean game where 2 players act as a gate, and the others march through in a circle until the music stops. Anyone trapped inside the gate when it closes is eliminated. The bridge imagery and the train light symbolism in the background of some promo images all align with this. Plus, there are 2 dolls, similar to the red light, green light doll, standing opposite each other, suggesting they will form the gate. This setup matches a promotional card that shows a circle within a circle, exactly like Dongdaemun. Other possible games like Jump Rope or The Trolley Problem don't fit thematically. They either aren't Korean games or lack the structured fairness that defines the Squid Games. The idea that this could be a revamped version of Red Light, Green Light is also unlikely, as the series never repeats games. Dongdaemun is the only candidate that fits all clues and would be the perfect elimination round, reducing the number of players from roughly 70 to maybe 32 or even 16. The next game is likely to be Why Did You Come to My House?, a traditional Korean children's game where 2 teams approach each other while singing, then play rock, paper, scissors to win players over. This game is full of symbolism, friendship, betrayal, power dynamics, all ideal ingredients for a penultimate challenge. One of the business cards from earlier promos shows a house, and a recent image released shows a guard dragging a player across a field of flowers. Another visual tie-in. Many fans believe this game will be something like human chess, but that game would be fundamentally unfair. A game like Why Did You Come to My House offers both psychological tension and physical risk. Plus, Gi-hun even predicted this game in Season 1, adding more fuel to the theory. Next, the last game, arguably the deadliest, will involve hanging or monkey bars. This is theorized to be a brutal test of willpower, possibly involving collapsing bars or a time-based crossing challenge. It echoes the tension of the glass bridge game from Season 1, where players were forced to make split-second decisions or push each other for survival. The monkey bars setup could involve random collapses or might be built around a last-person standing rule, where whoever holds on the longest wins. Such a game not only guarantees a single winner, but also captures the primal desperation that made the first season finale so memorable. Now for the next twist, the mysterious coffin. One released image shows a group of players staring in shock at a coffin being carried out, and most fans think the body inside belongs to Jung-bai, the rebellious player killed for setting off the failed uprising. This theory makes sense. His death would serve as a chilling reminder of what happens to those who defy the system. However, the theory proposes a more surprising idea. The person in the coffin might be player 246. In the image, player 120 looks especially horrified, far more than the other players. This could suggest a personal connection, like friendship or an alliance we haven't seen play out yet. Gi-hun is almost certainly not in the coffin, as that would end his story too early in the season, but the death of player 246 could serve as a turning point for one of the remaining characters, maybe even pushing Gi-hun to make his final move. Ever since player 246 grabbed and saved Hyun-ju during the Mingle game, the two have been practically glued together, appearing side by side in nearly every scene since that pivotal moment. Their connection grew stronger by the day, with player 246 becoming an almost protective force around her. Things took an unexpected turn during the rebellion, however, when Hyun-ju noticed that 246 didn't even know how to reload a weapon. That's when player 120 stepped in, demonstrating how to reload, cementing herself as a crucial presence in the group's survival. We also saw major developments surrounding the artist father. It's almost certain that he was shot by guard number 11, who wears a triangle mask and appears shorter than the artist, just like No Yule. But if you pay close attention to the scene, you'll notice a slight, almost imperceptible movement of the gun, shifting just slightly away from the artist father's heart. This subtle moment suggests an act of mercy. It fits perfectly with the later scene where No Yule is seen visiting the artist's daughter in the hospital. This could mean that guard number 11 deliberately spared the artist father's life. But the theory doesn't end there. There's strong speculation that the body inside the ominous coffin isn't actually dead. It might be player 246 struggling to stay alive. Guard number 11 may convince the organizers to place the artist father in the coffin as a calculated warning to the other players. This would be eerily similar to what happened in Season 1, where the organization hung up the doctor and corrupt guards involved in the organ trade as a public spectacle. It serves as a chilling, theatrical message to maintain order. This theory also explains why guard number 11 is seen outside the main facility later on, likely trying to escape, fearing punishment for her betrayal. It's probable that while on the run, she encounters Jun-ho and the so-called Squid Game Avengers. Jun-ho, ever perceptive, will surely pick up on the absence of the drone pilot and suspect the sea captain's betrayal. As Jun-ho pieces it all together, he'll realize the captain has deliberately steered him through countless islands without revealing the game's actual location. But there's more nuance here. The captain may be under strict orders not to harm Jun-ho, likely a directive from In-ho himself. When Jun-ho finally forces the truth out of him, it'll lead to the revelation of the island's real location. And despite the deception, Jun-ho might choose to spare the sea captain's life, possibly out of gratitude for rescuing him after he was shot by his brother. Once Jun-ho locates the island, he'll join forces with No Yule and guard number 11. This becomes a major turning point in Season 3. With guard number 11's knowledge of the facility's layout, the group finally gains the upper hand. Armed with insider information and military support, Jun-ho, No Yule, and the Avengers will have the firepower and tactical edge to challenge the organization directly. But who will survive the carnage? A subtle but intriguing clue might lie in the promotional banner for Season 3. Look closely, and you'll notice the positioning of Gi-hun, MG Coin, and Player 222. It mirrors the positioning of Gi-hun, Se-byok, and Sang-woo in the Season 1 promo, who happen to be the last 3 survivors. Even In-ho stands in the same spot as El-Riz did, further lending credibility to the theory. Still, it's unlikely things will play out identically. One circulating theory suggests that Gi-hun might adopt the artist father's daughter, hinting that Player 246 won't make it. Although his death looked suspicious, there's a strong possibility the artist father survives. Killing him off again after a dramatic return feels too cruel. Meanwhile, Player 222 is thought to have plot armor because of her pregnancy. Taking out an expecting mother might cross a line, even for this show. That said, the director could toy with this expectation, playing with audience discomfort. The hanging game is expected to be particularly brutal for Player 222. Her only chance of survival might hinge on intervention from the frontman. Interestingly, we've seen images of him seated in the VIP lounge, a departure from his usual role behind the scenes. This shift may indicate he's rethinking his position after assisting Player 222. We also see In-ho contemplating his mask, symbolizing an internal conflict. He's shown concern for Player 222 before, which may stem from a personal connection. His deceased wife was also pregnant when she died from liver disease. Despite manipulating Gi-hun, In-ho's empathy appears genuine. Helping Player 222 likely leaves him feeling conflicted, betraying the cold fairness he once stood for. In-ho's plan to break Gi-hun might backfire, instead restoring Gilbert's faith in humanity, and possibly reigniting In-ho's own. Gi-hun's unwavering belief in the goodness of people may be what finally cracks his brother's hardened exterior. There's another chilling subplot, the crazy shaman lady's prophecy. From the beginning of Season 2, she's issued eerie warnings, the most terrifying being her claim that Hyun-ju, the mother and her son will all die painfully before her eyes. This unsettling prediction strongly suggests their eventual elimination. It's likely the mother dies before her son, emotionally destroying him since he voted to continue the games. Fans will be heartbroken when Player 120 dies, but her death may immediately precede the shaman lady's own demise. Dae-ho, once a coward, might redeem himself by sacrificing his life to save someone else. The tide will turn when the Avengers take the island, but not before MG Coin dies, possibly in a heartbreaking moment where he sacrifices himself for Player 222. Before dying, he may ask Jimoni to protect her and their child. In the final stretch, Gi-hun, Player 222, Jun-ho, Player 246, Guard Number 11, and the military team are the last ones standing. Eventually, Jun-ho joins forces with Gilbert to end the games once and for all. There are 2 ways this could go. Gi-hun might take the high road and donate his winnings to the families of the fallen, or, more darkly, he could give in to vengeance. In the ultimate moment of Season 3, Gi-hun might force the VIPs to participate in the very games they orchestrated, possibly dragging corrupt guards into it as well. A horrifying twist would be that these revenge games offer no real hope of survival. Yet, true to his arc, Gi-hun may take part himself to prove a moral point. While the VIPs scramble and fail, Gilbert could choose to spare them as a warning rather than a punishment. The emotional peak comes when the frontman reveals himself as In-ho Gi-hun, now wiser and more compassionate, chooses mercy over revenge. This act finally breaks through to In-ho, who decides to guide the survivors off the island. In a redemptive act, he stays behind to destroy the facility, setting off the explosives teased back in Season 1. Back home, Gi-hun visits his mother's grave. Then, his phone rings. Fearing it's the organizers again, he answers with dread, only to hear his daughter's voice calling him Appa. Overwhelmed, Gilbert finally feels worthy of being her father. We close on a bittersweet note. Gi-hun is at an American airport, ready to reunite with his daughter, when he spots a man in a suit slapping someone, just like in the first season. The games aren't over. They've gone global. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon for more interesting videos like this.